wants law and order. Minorities want law and order. Everybody wants law and order. They have to have it. I'm running for the re-election, and a very important re-election, to bring jobs and factories back, and that's a continuation because I don't know if you know it, the single greatest year Wisconsin has ever had was last year. The second best year that Wisconsin has ever had was the year before. And guess what the third was the year before that? And you're going to have your best year economically next year. It's all heading in that direction. Despite the pandemic given to us by China. But we want to put the violent criminals behind bars, and we have to ensure the future belongs to America, not to China, not to other very terrible forces out there. Because if we win, very simply, America wins, and that's what we want. We want this great country to win. Over the last 3.5 years, we've secured America's borders, fixed the disastrous trade deals. They have been the worst ever. It was not even, when I looked at these, I studied them, and I used to talk about them. They had to be bad. When I started studying, I said, who are the people that made these deals? Grossly incompetent people. Brought back our manufacturing jobs, rebuilt the awesome power of the U.S. military, and obliterated the ISIS caliphate. We obliterated it. Obama was not able to do it. He wasn't able to come close. It was just announced that in 2019, before the virus came in from China, we grew median income by a record of $4,400 in just 1 year, achieving the highest median income in U.S. history. That's in the history of our country. In the first 3 years, we lifted 6.6 million people out of poverty, the largest poverty reduction of any president in the history of our country. That's not bad. And I didn't even make these numbers up. These are numbers that they sound good to me. We built the greatest economy in the history of the world. This is the greatest economy in the history of the world. Then the virus came in. We closed it down. We saved millions and millions of lives. We'd be at 2.5 million, 2 million, 3 million, a number that would not be sustainable, would not be acceptable, a horrible number. There shouldn't have been one person that died. It should have been stopped at China. They stopped it for their country, but it came out to us, to Europe, to the rest of the world, 188 countries. We will deliver a safe and effective vaccine before the end of the year, and it could be very, very soon. You've been seeing what's going. Could be very, very soon. Could be, it's amazing how all of a sudden they hate the vaccine. When they thought it couldn't be done, they said, well, you kids got to get a vaccine. And then all of a sudden, they're looking like it's going to be very close. We're doing great. We're doing great with vaccines and therapeutics, remdesivir, all sorts of other things that are bringing the rates down, like at numbers that nobody can believe. But we have 3 vaccines right now. They're in the final stage, clinical trials. We worked it for the FDA where they approved it fast. They went very fast, very quick, at levels that nobody else could have ever achieved, no other administration, certainly the last one, because the last one was grossly incompetent. In fact, that's why I'm here, because if it was good, I wouldn't have run. If they did their job, I wouldn't have run. I was very happy in my other life. I was very happy, but I'm very happy in this life, more happy, because nobody has produced in 3.5 years, the first 3.5 years, nobody has done what we have been able to do. Nobody. So we'll defeat the virus, and next year will be truly, I think, from an economic standpoint and from other standpoints, maybe the best year of all. Hard to believe we're going so fast. The numbers have been incredible. We've had employment numbers the best ever. We've had retail sales numbers the best ever. You see them all. They come out every day. And our stock market is, for the most part, at a new high. And if people have 401ks, if you want to have your 401k go down like to depression levels, I think you should vote for Sleepy Joe because he's going to raise your interest rates. He'll be raising your interest rates. You know, I watch him, though. He's denying all this stuff. You know, everything that he said, he's now denying. He said no fracking, right? There will be no fracking he didn't know what fracking was, but he said there's no fracking. The reason is because everybody else, all of the radical left candidates up there, they couldn't get too far left. So Joe agreed. Then he gets the nomination. Now they're all angry. You know that Crazy Bernie, all of the left Democrats, they don't want to vote for him anymore because he made promises, and now all of a sudden he forgot that he said no fracking. He said, well, now we can do some fracking. But, you know, remember this in politics. It's always the thing that they say first. That's what they're going to do. No guns, no religion, no energy, no oil. Remember that. Remember, he put Beto in charge of his gun policy, right? Beto, crazy Beto. Remember when Beto went out, he said, I was born for this. And that's when it all came down. As soon as I heard that, anybody said they were born for this, it doesn't play well. But he's in charge of the Second Amendment, and you won't have a Second Amendment. Frankly, you wouldn't have a Second Amendment if I didn't get elected. It would have been obliterated. It would have been torn up. Maybe it would have been totally knocked out. But there's tremendous pressure on your Second Amendment. As long as I'm here, you'll always have a Second Amendment. But I want to just say, you know, they do disinformation. They make up a phony story, and then they go with it. They make up a totally phony story. It's called disinformation. And one of the things, what they did, the worst of all, was the soldiers, because nobody loves our soldiers like I do. And they made up a phony deal. And that's why I say the gloves are off, because, you know, when they do that, that's worse than what I'm going to talk to you about. That's Big Ten. You know, we got it back, right? We got Big Ten. But the soldier story about standing over the graves, you know the one I'm talking about. Then they do a commercial, and I said the good news about that is the gloves are off. I can now call him grossly incompetent. The man is incompetent. He's been there for 47 years. He didn't do a thing. Now all of a sudden, in years where he was never considered smart, but now he's really not considered smart. And now all of a sudden he's going to do what he never did in 47 years. He's going to do this and that and everything that I'm doing, everything that we're doing. But I want to congratulate the Big Ten Conference on yesterday's announcement that the fall season will start very soon. Oh, I hope your team does well after all that. I hope that team does well. But I especially want to thank a football legend. He was great. Wisconsin's own Barry Alvarez. He was great. Good. Got to be careful when you do that. You know, a lot of times you don't like people too much. They say, oh, we don't. But he's a good man. We worked with him. We worked with a whole group, including the commissioner of the league. Did a very, very good job. Did a very good job. But we called them, and the reason is that they took an ad. In other words, another one, disinformation. They took an ad saying I was against football. I'm the one that said they shouldn't close. But I said that, you know, if they close, they close. But then they took an ad saying I'm the one, I didn't want it. I wanted it closed. So then I said, well, no, I don't. I want it open. Let me call up the commissioner. We called up the commissioner. And he was great. He said, you really think so? And bottom line, we worked very hard, lots of calls to lots of different states, lots of people. We dealt with the players, the parents of the players who are really the boss. That's okay, I won't say that. But these are players that have a shot at the NFL. They have a shot at pro football. We want the NFL to proudly stand when they sing our national anthem, right? Or their ratings are going to continue to go down like they did last weekend, down 27%. Because people don't want that. You know what? We have enough politics, right? We have politics here. We have politics all over. In fact, sometimes I have to turn it off. I can't do it anymore. I can't watch me. I can't watch me. I can't watch. But no, we have enough politics. We don't want to watch now on Sunday, oh, here we go again with the politics. Let them play football. Let them stand and salute or put your hand on your heart and be proud of our country and be proud of our great American flag. And then go home to the mansion and have a good time, take a nice sauna. And then if you want, after you recover, you come out and you go and you do your thing, whatever the thing may be. But people don't want to see it, and the ratings are down. Here we go again. You know, I thought we taught them that lesson 2 years ago, didn't we think? I thought we taught that lesson. But Biden would absolutely eradicate your state's economy. I know this state very well. It's one of the reasons I made the great deal with Canada and Mexico, but Canada, because they were taking advantage of you so badly on your dairy products. You know, you had a 287% tariff on your dairy products with Canada. People don't realize Canada is one of the toughest negotiators, and they treated your state and this country very unfairly until I came along. Very, very unfairly. Did you know that? 287, but I saw some farmers, and this was like the straw that broke the camel's back. They had something called specialty milk. Does anybody know what that is, right? You know. A lot of people, it's a small little grouping of milks, specialty milk. But this was the final straw, and I met some people, and Canada finally did it to them like they did it to everybody else, and they raised the tariffs massively. They made it impossible. They tried to take over that business too, along with all of it. It was just massive and horrible what they did, and that really got me going. The little specialty milk, specialty products, a small portion, but you know what? That was it. And we have a great deal. The USMCA is a great deal, and I'm very honored to have done it. But it was all because of specialty milk and the way you were taken advantage of by Canada. You know, they have the wonderful, "Oh, Canada." We love to hear the song, right? But let me tell you, they are very tough, and they've taken advantage of our country for many, many years. And I will tell you this, they're not so happy now, but at least they got a deal. But you're happy, and it's about time you were happy. You now have a great deal, and you're not going to have your companies leaving for Mexico anymore or Canada. And you're not going to have them make your product in Mexico or Canada, send it over here with no tariff, with no tax, where we lose tax, we lose jobs, we lose our companies, we lose everything. And they make a lot of money selling the product to us, same product. So we're not doing that stuff anymore. There's a tremendous disincentive. It's called, like, let's not do it. And you haven't seen that lately. You haven't seen too many companies leaving, have you? It's sort of an amazing thing. It's a little bit like what we did with the statues. So on the statues, they were knocking them down 3 or 4 months ago. I said, do we have any laws? No. But there was a very old law. I said, what was it? You get 10 years in jail, 10 years in prison. They actually use the word prison, which is a tough word. You get 10 years in prison if you knock down a statue or a monument. I said, let me see that law. I want to see that law. Right, Glenn, right? I want to see that law. Where's Duffy? Is he there too? Oh, look at the guy. He's climbing trees tomorrow. And Rachel. Oh, Rachel. He was a good climber. You think he could climb up a tree faster than me? I think so. So I just want to tell you, so what we've done in a very, very short period of time is what nobody thought. And we came in and we did it, and we did it for you, and we did it for everybody. We did it for our country. But we wouldn't have a country left. What was happening to our country, how we were taking advantage, now we have to get 4 more years to cement it and to do additional things, including tax cuts. They're going to raise your taxes. They're going to raise your taxes very substantially. We're cutting your taxes. We got you the biggest tax cut in history, and we're going down lower. It's called growth. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So big tax cuts, big regulation cuts. The Democrats, they want to just really break us down in terms of our competitive ability to compete with other nations. Do you notice what's happening with Japan? Do you notice what's happening? We have taken billions and billions of dollars in from China. We charge them a fortune. In fact, many farmers in this group, because you gotta love Trump. I gave you $28 billion, right? Thank you very much, China, right? You were targeted. 12 billion, Sonny Perdue, Secretary of Agriculture. I said, Sonny, how much have they been hit for, targeted for? Remember when China said, we're not going to do anything, we're not buying, they thought they were going to put pressure on us. Sonny said, sir, 12 billion the year before last, and last year was 16, total of 28 billion. We took 28 billion out of the tariffs. China never paid us 10 cents. Not 10 cents with Obama and Biden. And in all fairness, with no president, they paid us nothing. They pay us now tens of billions of dollars. I took a small portion of it. I added it up, 16 and 12, 28. And I said, $28 billion is going to the farmers. Did everybody get that money? Right? You had a very good year. You know, the farmers have had a very good year. Last week, China ordered, and you have to understand, I view China differently now than I did 6 months ago. We made a great trade deal, but I view it differently because I don't know if I can ever view it the same. But last week, they know how I feel, and they're very smart. So instead of saying, we're not going to do business, which would have been okay with me, we would have worked it out somehow. You would have been very successful, the farmers. But last week, they had the largest order of corn, did you know this, in the history of our country. Did anyone know this, the farmers? From China, thank you very much. The largest order of soybeans in the history of our country, and one of the largest cattle orders in the history of our country, because they're very smart. Somebody else would have said, well, let's not do business, and then it would have been easy for me. But they gave us so much. I have every farmer calling up saying, please, do me a favor. We love this. We love this. This is a great deal. It's a great deal, but we feel differently about it, don't we? We just feel differently about it. I don't talk about it like I used to. I talked about it. It was great, and it's turned out to be a great deal, but I don't talk about it the same way. At no time before has there been a clearer choice between two parties, two visions, two philosophies, or two agendas for the future than these two parties. You got law and order on one side and you have chaos on the other. On November 3rd, Wisconsin will decide whether we will quickly return to record prosperity or whether we will allow Biden and the Democrats to impose a $4 trillion tax hike, ban American energy, confiscate your guns, which is what they want to do, shut down the economy, destroy the suburbs. You know, they were destroying our suburbs. You know that, right? I don't know. Somebody said, you're just doing okay in the suburbs. I said, how can I do okay? I saved the suburbs. What I've done is save the suburbs. And you know this, I don't have to go into it, but I saved the suburbs. I think the suburbs, you know that last time, 4 years ago, oh, he's not going to do well with women. I did great with women. They said, well, a big thing. Remember that? Election Eve. He won't do well. This will be a very short. Not doing well with women. I did great. They said at the end of the night, after they announced I won, they said, what happened? Well, he did very well with women. I don't know how it happened there. They said he did very well with African-American community. He did very well with Hispanic. They said he did very well with everything. We kicked their ass. That was it. No, but was that one of the greatest evenings ever, remember? And remember all the fake news? Look at all the, oh, lot, that's a lot. Whoa. That's a lot of people back there. Look at that. The red lights are on. Don't worry, I won't say anything bad about you, CNN. Because as soon as I'm getting ready to say something about fake news, et cetera, the lights start going off. So I'm not going to say, whoop, one just went off. You can tell by the lights. They got that little beautiful red light. You see it? But I won't say anything bad about it. But they are fakers. And you remember when they were saying that the polls are terrible? Actually, these polls are very good compared. That was so bad, it was like, why did anybody vote? They're called suppression polls. They make them so bad that you lose all your appetite you lose all your spirit, they take your guts out, and you don't go and vote. And your wife looks at you and said, darling, I love that guy, but he's not going to win. He doesn't have a chance because the polls, he's down 10, he's down 20, he's down 50 points, darling. He can't possibly win. Let's go have dinner, and then we'll come home and watch his concession speech. But my people didn't buy that because my people went out to vote. And instead, we watched her concession speech. That was Crooked Hillary. That was a real piece of work. Remember when she was saying, will you accept the decision of the voters? Will you accept that decision? And I didn't, I wasn't perfect. I said, I'll see how it works out. I mean, I should have said, yes, I will, but I couldn't do that because I know how crooked she is, right? Would you accept the decision? And then the anchor said to me, like, well, will you accept? They're coming after me. I said, you're supposed to be going after her a little bit, too. Did you ever see debates where you had all of the anchors plus the candidates against me? And here we sit. Is that Air Force One? Yes, that's Air Force One. How did that happen? No, we had a lot of times I'd say to the anchor, I'd say, wait a minute. This isn't fair. I mean, I'm watching what they're doing with Biden where he's using teleprompters. Move it up. I can't see. He's shot. No. President Xi of China is not shot. Putin is not shot. Kim Jong-un, remember we're supposed to be in a war with him. What happened to the war? We're not, no, it seems to be good. Did you see the Middle East 2 days ago? Remember our incompetent negotiator, John Kerry? He never got up to walk. The guy's getting beaten on every point. I say, walk, get up and leave the table. You're giving up. They'd say, we want this. He'd say, well, I'd rather not. We want this. Okay, you got it. We want that. You got it. We want that. Say no and walk. They'll possibly call you back. And if they don't, that's okay, too. But right now, I will tell you, Iran, if we win, Iran will be calling us within the first week. They're dying to make a deal. GDP down 27%. They don't have too much money for terror anymore. It's actually amazing. Do you notice what's going on? Now, I don't want to speak too loud, but I did put out on social media the other day that if they hit us in any way, any form, written instructions already done, we're going to hit them 1,000 times harder than we've ever hit them before. So hopefully they will just come and we'll make a deal and they'll go back to being a rich country. Let them go back and be rich. But they cannot have a nuclear weapon. They cannot. That deal was so bad that Obama made $150 billion. They got $150 billion for nothing. The deal is practically, if I didn't terminate it, which I'm proud to have done, but if I didn't terminate it, and they got $1.8 billion in cash, how about that? If I didn't terminate that stupid deal, first of all, you wouldn't have the deal in the Middle East, and all these countries are joining. It's happening fast. They're all wanted. They want to all join. We did it, the reverse. We did it the reverse. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's interesting. Thank you very much. I knew I liked you. So the Nobel Peace Prize. So the funny thing, a lot of people don't know it because the fake news doesn't write about it. So if you're a president, right, and you are nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, you're the United States. No, but think of this. That's a big deal. I mean, Obama got it like in his first couple of weeks, and nobody knew why he got it, including him. Remember, he couldn't tell you why. He had no idea. To this day, he has no idea why he got it. But if you're a president and you get nominated, then 2 days later, you get nominated. Did you know this? A second time for a different deal. Kosovo. Serbia. They've been killing each other for hundreds of years. I stopped a lot of death, and I did it like easy. It wasn't hard for me. It's sort of a natural thing to do, but we did a good thing. But you know what? They did a check. So I got nominated twice for the Nobel Peace Prize. That's a big deal. I don't know. I should have gotten nominated 7 times because we did a lot of other things. But these are for 2 different deals. And not one mention was made on the evening news. Think of it. Now, when Obama got it, it was headlines, headlines. Our president just got the Nobel Peace Prize. He was just nominated, headlines. Like his first little while, he got it. And to this day, and frankly, he did a lousy job. He was a lousy president. He really was. And his vice president, I'll tell you what, his vice president was very good for you know who? For Hunter. Where's Hunter? Remember the quid pro quo? Remember? I'm not giving them that $1 billion unless you get rid of that prosecutor. And whoa, they got rid of the prosecutor. Here's the $1 billion, right? But they don't want to play that too often. You know, you have to look around for it. No, it's a very unfair deal. But as the expression goes, we won. I don't know how the hell we did it, if you think about it. When you look at the opposition, when you look at how unfair it is, and these guys know very well, you look at how unfair it is, it's pretty damn good. But we have a lot of support. We have tremendous support of the people. These rallies, look at this rally, these rallies are incredible. And I will tell you, Sean, I think gap ever polled. I mean, again, I'm not a believer in the polls, but I believe that one, it's the biggest enthusiasm gap. He's got no enthusiasm. The only enthusiasm is for the people